Hi guys, and welcome to this week's video. This video is going to be all around how you can save money, especially during these times as the cost of living crisis hits. So I'm hoping that this video is going to be full of tips and ideas about how you can save those coins. If you're new to the channel, I'm Alina Ghost and I do lots of mum videos. It started off with my love for diapers, so basically I do cloth and nappies specifically, but I also do loads of other mum stuff, mum hacks, clean with me's, and plenty of videos on home redecorations because we've recently moved into a new house and we're going through every single room, the inside, outside of the house as well, so plenty of redecorating videos as well. I have a 2-year-old who is called Aiden, and I am naturally very much conscious about how much I spend because I grew up in a poor family. Basically they're an immigrant family who spent all of their money and all of their fortune on basically moving countries. I was born in Russia. Long story short, I ended up in London, but now I live in Essex, so just outside of London. We are currently experiencing a cost of living crisis for one reason or another, which I'm not going to go through here. But the bottom line is the fact that we want to save our pennies because it is very expensive to live, from electricity and gas going up to naturally food and other items that you need day to day have gone up. So inflation basically. First things first, and that is checking what you already spend, what is already outgoing. What I did is check my direct debits to see what exactly is going out monthly, and something that I might not have realized, you can actually have apps that help you do this as well. So my friend actually recommended an app. I completely forgot what it was called, but I will add it into the description box below once I find out. So basically what I did is figured out what I have to spend a month and put it onto a spreadsheet as well. So another tip, not only do you look at your outgoings and cut down those that you no longer need to spend, but you can also do like an Excel sheet to see how much you actually have outgoing, so that how much you need and how much you have left over after like your paycheck, or how much incoming you have coming in. Therefore you've got the idea of how much you've got left to spend on other things. So that one is nice and easy. Look at your direct debits and cut down anything that you might not necessarily need. I think it becomes a little bit more difficult when we start talking about actually paying into charities, because I do that on a monthly basis as well. So it's completely up to you and how much you need to save every month in order to understand what direct debits you can cut down. Like, some of the things luxuries, like for example I also have YouTube Premium, which I'm not giving up, but somebody might say actually I've not been using YouTube for goodness knows how long, and therefore I'm not going to have that anymore. So it's completely up to you and up to each individual to understand what they might need, what they can get rid of, and therefore save themselves some money. Money, 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 money. Something that I am an avid supporter for, and that is selling things off that you might not necessarily need anymore. So I use eBay, I use Gumtree, I use Facebook Marketplace is a great one. Basically any small bits and bobs that you've got around the house and you no longer need. Lots of these places have lots of apps that you can use as well to make it as easy as possible, and then you can make a buck or two to actually get some money to spend elsewhere. Something that is a little bit more difficult when it comes to UK weather, and that is using your tumble dryer less, which means putting up your clothes to dry on an outside area or a washing line that is outdoors, hopefully when it's sunny, when it's warmer, or even in a warmer room. So if you have a conservatory, for example, it's a great way to save on electricity costs, especially because you're no longer using the tumble dryer. So that is a super quick win and actually really easily done. A lot of people take this one for granted, but it's about comparing bills. So every year when you've got a something that you need to renew, most of these things auto renew, but if you actually call these companies up, so for example a phone bill or Sky Virgin, so like entertainment. It's a very good way of getting a better deal, because not only do they auto renew, but sometimes they actually go up in prices as well. So by comparing bills, or using something like Compare the Meerkat to find out what, like your car tax for example, or car insurance rather, it's a great way to get a better deal. So it is worth taking the time to find out if another company is going to offer you a better deal than the one you currently have, or the one you've got coming up in the auto renewal. This next one is all about being thrifty, and I absolutely love that, because you make the most out of the things that you currently have. And not only is it great for your pocket, but it's also fantastic for saving the environment. So what I mean by that is about reusing things like gift bags or wrapping paper, or for example being as smart as possible with like your hand soap. You don't actually throw away like the little bit at the bottom of it, but like add some water to it, and maybe you can use it for something else, but just making sure that you use up as much as you can of the items that you have. Another quick example that my mum absolutely loves, and that's about cutting open lotion tubes so that you get as much cream out of those tubes as possible. Another tip that I'm absolutely passionate about, and that is about using reusable items. Not only is it about cloth nappies, which I'm super passionate about, but also about reusable like period pads for example, or makeup wipes. Things that you can use time and time and again after you just simply pop it into the washing machine, give it a wash, and then use it again. That means you don't have that monthly outgoing cost for that particular item, because you're reusing this thing. But then the other great thing is the fact that you're saving the planet at the same time. I've looked into this tip in particular very recently myself, and that is about renting out a dress rather than buying a new one. Something that one of the YouTubers that I watch, she's called Josie, so she's actually a fashion blogger from Fashion Mumbler, and basically she puts her dresses on this app that allows you to rent dresses. This app is called By Rotation, but I'm sure you can get other companies that do a similar sort of thing. But what you do is basically either you put your own dress on there and somebody else can borrow it for a certain period of time, and then you charge them for each day that they borrowed that, or vice versa. You can actually rent a really designer beautiful dress for a fraction of the price, depending on how long you might want it. If you need it only for the weekend, you only spend a few days worth of actually rental charge for that. So it's like a fraction of the price of what it would actually be, but you could still look magnificent at the same time. The other thing, what I've learned recently, especially moving into a new, much bigger house, and that is think about DIYing as much as possible. And that's not only about decorating yourself, but also think about the items that you want in your living space and creating it yourself. So for example, I've recently started a macrame project to make a really beautiful boho lampshade, so I can't wait for that to be finished, and it will go just behind me at the top on the ceiling right there. It just means that instead of paying, let's say £40–50 for a new lampshade, I actually managed to make one myself. So firstly, I managed to thrift the lampshade, the inner bit, from somebody locally who didn't want it anymore, for free, and then I spent £8 only on the wool on the outside, and it would still look amazing when I put it together. That brings me nicely to say that actually if you have charity shops nearby, so not only is it about thinking using like Facebook Marketplace and eBay and those kinds of apps and companies, but also about the charity shops that you have nearby. Like I know that in the US they have plenty of thrift stores, but you can do a similar sort of thing here in the UK using charity shops. You can find really good quality items for a fraction of the price. It saves you money. You could still have a beautiful looking home and not spend so much money at the same time. Something that we can all do better, and that is food waste. So basically I try consciously to have a look at what we've eaten the previous week and ensure that we don't buy it the next week, but also ensure that we buy the right quantities, making sure that there are fewer amount of items that need to be thrown away, so as less food waste as possible. And I definitely do think that each one of us can do this a lot better. I don't think I've ever met anybody who said that they haven't thrown away a cabbage or two at the end of the week. Something that my friend does really well, and that is cook in batches and then freeze some meals so that you don't actually have to cook from scratch. So not only does it save you time, especially if you're a mum like me, but also it's a great way to make sure that you don't have as much food waste as you would normally. So you can cook in batches in a huge, create a huge pack of, let's say, bolognese, and then you can freeze like a few, I don't know, Tupperware boxes of these things, and then use it the next time to create like a chili con carne. So you can definitely cook in a smarter way in order to use up all the veg that you've got in the fridge so that you don't have to throw it away, and then you've still got some food throughout the week as well. So win-win situation. I really hope that these tips help you guys save some money. I know that it does for me. I have been really conscious about understanding how much I've got outgoing, especially as the bills are going up every month and everything. I want to make sure that I'm spending my money on the right things, especially as we're redoing lots of the house, and how much I've got left in order to spend on other things. So it's been an amazing journey, and I hope that my research have not only helped me but also helps you out as well. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up, and if you're new to the channel, I'd love for you to subscribe, and hopefully I'll see you on our journey in the next video. Thanks so much for watching, and until next time.